never thought of why I did comedy, and I just did it because it was great and cool and it felt good. It's great that it makes people happy. So every time I go on stage and you get a laugh, it's just addictive. If you don't take a risk in life, you might as well be dead. Because if you take a risk, you're going to be successful, you're going to really fail. I mean, there's just no middle ground. It's up and down. But if you look at an EKG machine, that means you're alive. But if you don't take any chances and you just live safely, well, you're flatlining through life. And why live if that's the way you're doing? In comedy, it's a risk every night, every moment, every breath. And it's exciting. It's a high wire act, and I love it. I book a lot of shows. I booked Letterman for years, and I book, this festival I do in Nebraska every year. I find the best young comedians in the world when they don't have managers or agents and no one knows who they are. And it's really fun to give them the opportunity, help develop their comedy, and then watch them become great. I love what I do for a living. So to be able to give back in the charity world, it just feels great. Whenever people call me, I'm there. I'm involved in like 15 or 20 organizations, and I could never get enough of it. It's really fun. It's interesting because my whole life I've been either heavy or thin, back and forth, back and forth. I was thin mostly in college because I was broke. And every time I'd lose a lot of weight, I'd gain it back plus some. And that was the way I did it. I was 365 pounds, and now I went down to 235. I had heard about this place called the Hippocrates Health Institute. I met a woman who had beat cervical cancer, beat it without chemo or without radiation. So I went to this Hippocrates place and I learned about nutrition. I've lost about 130 pounds. My skin is completely different and cleared up. My hair, although it's not growing, which I wish there was something for that, it's thicker, and everything about me I have more energy. Even my comedy's better. I'm free. My brain is clear. The things that's inspired me in life have been comedians, funny people, like George Carlin, who was my hero and then eventually became my friend. But what I learned from all the greats, all my favorite comedians like George Carlin and Richard Pryor, and it's about letting vulnerability show. And a lot of times in comedy, people try to make the audience happy, love me. And that's not the great comics. The great comics are, here's what I got, here's my heart, my soul, I'm laying it out there. If you like it, great. If you don't, I'll find another group of people who will. It might sound corny, but it's true that my mother is the most inspirational person in my life. She's my rock, and that's really terrific, and the funniest person I know.